Alright, what's going on, guys? I got a fat stack of stuff here that I have to show you. We are going to be going through the P's through the SO of my atmospheric black metal collection, and it's huge because I had to split up the S's to be the completion from ST on. So, before I keep yammering, we are listening to Dragon Secrets by Skylark in the background. Some really good corny Italian power metal done in the very, very Italian style in this really weird kind of case. I don't really know what the deal is with that, but it's out on Underground Symphony, distributed by Nordic Metal, or just Nordic Metal. Great stuff. Cheesy, corny, a lot of fun. I really like this kind of power metal, so whatever. All right, so we're gonna start in the P, like I said. We're going to start off with one of my favorite bands of all time, Panopticon, and this is the album Collapse. This is the original first press out on Pagan Flames. Really cool thing to have. I think I picked this up in the wild at one of my local shops. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it's a really, really good record. I think Panopticon has aged like a fine wine, turning into a very, very, very good project. And this early starts, they're pretty good. But they're not the exact same kind of Panopticon that I love as much as, I do. Great record, though. Next, this is Revisitations of the Past. So this is a dual CD set of two of the albums, being on the subject of mortality and social disservices. Very cool stuff. Got Austin to sign it here, which is really, really cool, but obviously you'll recognize the album covers now. This is probably my favorite of the two, I would say, which would be, I don't think that's too much of a hot take, I don't think, but this is a really, really good, I guess you'd call it a compilation. I know that there's some stuff that was changed, maybe some remastering or maybe some kind of re-recording. I don't particularly remember, to be honest with you, so don't take any of what I say as potentially exactly what's happening. But nonetheless, this is still in that style that I like, but isn't the Panopticon I think of. But it's obviously a very important part of the trajectory. And here is where the style of Panopticon that I am particularly fond of comes in, being Kentucky. Amazing, amazing album. Cool vinyl looking digipack. What can I really say about this record? I mean, this is one of the greatest American black metal albums ever. Kind of the introduction of the American folk and bluegrass into the sound. Just really one of a kind, really. Nobody sounds like this. I mean, now there's some bands that try to sound like this, but at this point in time, not a single band pulled this off. This is probably my favorite Panopticon album, being Roads to the North. This is the album that was written in the transition from moving to Kentucky to Minnesota, from what I understand. And I have this one. Love that photo. Also signed by Austin, which is super, super awesome. I appreciate him signing all this stuff for me when I went and saw Panopticon live. That was a real treat. Man, dude, you get a load of that. I've always loved that photo right there. And this is an album cover I have tried in a million cases to recreate, and I never get that really perfect sunbeams through the trees look that I really want. But this is brilliant, dude. I mean, where mountains pierce the sky, the long road in three movements, the echoes of a dissonant Evans song, Norwegian Nights. Norwegian Nights might be my favorite song. I don't really know. Great stuff. It's hard to tell. Autumn Eternal. Another one that I think is to be held in a very, very high regard as far as I'm concerned. Beautiful. Also signed. I picked up a bunch of them when I saw Panopticon. For whatever reason, this one doesn't seem to get as played as often, but every time I listen to it, it's brilliant. So my buddy got this before me, and we were listening to it, and the intro, it has the loons in it. And I was like, dude, why are there whale sounds? We were sitting there in the car listening to it, and I'm an idiot. I've never been to an ocean, so I don't know what whales sound like, dude. That's what I thought they sounded like, but you know, I should have known what loons sound like considering where I'm from. This is the split with Panopticon and Waldenflooster. Really cool cardstock digipack. Looks really good. Signed again. It's great stuff, man. There's not really much I could say about this one. It's a quick listen. Waldenflooster, whatever. I need to pick up some of their material. I'll get to it eventually, but great. Next, The Scars of Man in the Once Nameless Wilderness, Part 1 and 2. I really don't feel like pulling these out of the digipacks or out of the sleeves, but these are both amazing. Part 1 is a really good kind of melodic black metal, atmospheric, dark, mid-paced metal, and then 2 is a killer folk music record. I am an enormous fan of both of these, but I tend to listen to Part 2 more than I do Part 1. Really good stuff. Love Panopticon. And the last thing I got from them is the newest album, just the CD that came with the vinyl. I put it on the shelf because I don't know, I'm not going to think to go look at the vinyl and listen to it. But again and again, Into the Light. Really good one. Alright. Poyost. International band, being Swedish, and I don't remember where else this band is from. But there's a couple different people from different parts of the world. It's a really good. Check out that photo. Always loved that one. Kind of Bathory-ish, epic, doom, Viking metal, kind of like your Tours and you know your Viking era Bathory style stuff. A little bit gruff and raw in the production, which I think it would have benefited from a bit thicker of a production value, but nonetheless, amazing album cover, I must say. I blind bought this from, I think, CDN Records. Good stuff, glad to have it. Alright, now I got a couple from this band that I don't spend a lot of time with, but this is Imrama by Primordial. You know, I love this band every time I listen to it, and then I'm like never thinking to listen to them. But if you guys aren't familiar with Primordial, first off, I think I might have these Primordial albums out of order a little bit now that I'm looking at them. I definitely do, I think. But this is great, kind of Irish folky black metal. Again, drinking from the waters of Bathory in a lot of different ways. Really well put together. All these digipacks kind of look similar. A Journey's End. I think this is their second record from like 1998. I don't remember this Primordial chronology very well. Not the most exciting digipacks in the world, but again, another one that I picked up off of CDN Records was all 3 of these Primordial albums. Back when, you know, shipping prices internationally wasn't such a ridiculous thing. I would like to order from CDN pretty regularly because stuff was so cheap, dude. Especially, first off, CDN's cheap generally, and then you have, at that point, you had the Canadian to US currency, which dropped the price even further, and it was cheap shipping. Not so much these days, but you know, a boy can dream, can he? And the last from Primordial, Spirit of the Earth Aflame. Here we are. Very cool digipack. Sleeve that irritates me beyond end, because it could have just been this and then the track on the back, but no, let's just put the stupid nonsense back there. Whatever. This one doesn't get pulled very much. I've only listened to this a handful of times, and obviously it's more Primordial, so it's pretty good. But, you know, I could use some good revisitation, which is part of what I like about this whole doing my entire collection series. Is it reminds me, you know, it reminds me there's stuff in here that is just great that I need to listen to more of. Primordial. Alright. Rua with the album Eternal. I really love this album. So, this is a Scottish, epic, atmospheric, folky black metal band. And first off, great photo, or great painting on the front. Cool stuff on the back. really pretty, and it's out of Northern Silence, which is an automatic absolutely for me in just about every case, for the majority of the time, I should say. The song Let the Pagan Fire Burn is easily the best Ruah track I've ever heard. I've sent it to a couple people. They seem to be pretty impressed with it. It's super dense, dude. It's epic. The clean vocals on this album are such a good addition to the kind of folky black metal with the Celtic feel. Really great. Continuing Scottish folky black metal, we're hitting the Sayor section. Roots. A lot of digipacks here, which is kind of funny that my favorite genre has my least favorite packaging in almost every case. Hype sticker in there, like I always put it. No, it's not stuck to the disc permanently. It's just on a piece of plastic from the shrink. This is really good. It's not completely realized Sayor quite yet, but it is a really well put together folk black metal. I keep putting them upside down. I gotta put them back on my shelf, so. Next, Aura. The Aura, I think it is, actually. This is probably the best Sayor material, as far as I'm concerned. This is the first thing I ever heard. I remember when this came out, people were just crazy for it. Really pretty, really pretty stuff in here. Looks amazing. I would love to visit Scotland at some point. I will, hopefully, eventually. We'll see. I haven't flown to Europe quite yet, so that sounds like a rough time. I should probably get more used to flying before I try to do that. Guardians. Great record. I think this is probably the second best in the Sayor catalog. There's this weird LARPer kid at the college I went to who like would hang out with the guys who would like wear chainmail to class and stuff like that. And one of them had a Sayor t-shirt of this album, and I was like, that's pretty sick, but I didn't want to go talk to him. Which, now looking back, dude's wearing chainmail. I probably should have talked to him. Anyway, Sayor. Forgotten Paths. As you can tell, I like Sayor. I have pretty much all of them. Actually, I think I might have all of the full lengths. This one's really good. I think I've listened to it like once though. But what I remember of it, I liked it quite a bit, as you might imagine. I will need to revisit this one though. It gets ignored in the catalog, you know? It's surrounded by a lot of really good stuff. And Origins, which is the most recent one from 2022. Pretty digipack, really cool. I don't know, like rocks with magic runes or some nonsense on there. Let's open this whole thing up. Look at that. Yeah, killer stuff. This record was really good. I talked about it in my year-end list from last year, so I feel like I don't need to reiterate too much. All right, so this is a random blind buy when I first started getting into this black metal stuff. This is Grand Destiny by Seer Bliss. This is a really great Hungarian atmospheric black metal band. I don't know, man. They're kind of hard to describe. They kind of have a really one-of-a-kind sound to them. I mean, it's pretty black metal, and it's quick and fast, but there's saxophones. It almost feels a little progressive at some points. I'm not 100% sure what to really make of it, to be completely and totally honest with you. But it's an interesting listen. Yeah, I feel like I don't have too much to say on that one. All right. Serment, with an album name I have no clue how to pronounce. Quebecois black metal, hangs out very well in your Fortress and Sombra Forts camp. Really pretty stuff, really well written, pretty melancholic, maybe ambient touched, but I would say this is more like Themes pour la Rebellion era of Fortress, where it's a little quicker, maybe a little bit more atmospheric, closer to your SDG sound. Check this out if you haven't. Quebecois black metal rules. All right, a couple from a great Russian band. This is From the Dead Village's Darkness by Sivajiar. Picked this up a good long while ago at this point, and it's amazing. It's kind of depressive, posty, atmospheric black metal with some really shrieky vocals. It kind of sounds like grift with more post-rock and not the folk element. It's really, really well done, dude. This band is so good. This is my favorite of the Sivajiar material. Then there's this one, which is Burial Shroud. Burial Shrouds. Really cool logo. The like bowl in the what is it, Cyrillic? Is that what their alphabet is called? The Cyrillic alphabet, if I remember right. More great stuff. It just hasn't hit me like the other one because it's not the first one I heard. And then this one as well, Rope. I think that this is an EP, but don't quote me on that. I don't remember. This is out of Avant-Garde Music in 2020. Let me yank this thing out of its friggin' protective sleeve. Better look. Nice and cool artwork. Pretty hard-line pencil drawings. I don't know, this band's aesthetic really fits with their tunes really, really well. But this is like a bleak, life-sucking style of atmospheric black metal. I don't know. That's the best way I can really describe it. It's not pretty, and it's not like, oh, majestic and all that. This is bleak. This is dark and gray, you know what I mean? Good stuff. Next, one of the greatest Canadian black metal albums of all time. Skagos with the album Ast. I don't really know, but dude, this is a top tier album. Absolutely brilliant Cascadian style folky black metal. My favorite song on here is A Night That Ends As All Night Ends When the Sun Rises. It's like this percussive, ritualistic acoustic song with really well done like lead harmonies and stuff like that, and a great build up. It's just an absolute journey of an album. And if you've heard my music, Tony John stuff, I have a song called Phantom Gatekeepers on there, and that song directly influenced how I composed that song, especially with the leads and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in kind of black and folk music, go check that out. Skagos is a direct influence on me, and I'm working on a neo-folk EP that's a little bit more in the style and maybe a little bit less rocky, but yeah, really good. Skogan with Adon. I'm going to stop opening these. Actually, no, I'm not. You're going to deal with it. Sorry, it's going to be a long video. I was going to stop opening them, but this is literally the whole point here, is to show my whole collection. This is pretty middle of the road atmospheric black metal from Sweden. Nothing particularly special. If you like Druk, you'll like Skogan. If you like Winter Phylith, you'll like Skogan. If you like Woden's Throne, you'll like this band. All right, here's a bunch from one of Russia's greatest bands as well, Skyforest with the album Aftermath. This is their debut album, limited to 1,000 copies. I haven't spent a particularly large amount of time with this record, to be completely and totally honest with you, but the look of, you know, the kind of wood grain, pale folklore of Agalok was something that I always thought was a really cool look. I have a hunch that was a pretty direct influence to this band. So this band rides the majesty more than anything. The really big, soundscapey, synthesizer-based, epic, atmospheric black metal, but not epic in the summoning style of black metal, epic in like the bombastic kind of cinematic sound. This right here is the Skyforest album as far as I'm concerned. Unity, by far my favorite album probably ever to come out of Russia. Amazing, beautiful. I saw, or you guys, if you guys watch Heavy Metallurgy, you saw me show this on the episode I was on like 2 weeks ago. I have nothing but good things to say. I was blown away the first time I heard it. I'm blown away every time I hear it, and I adore it. And it led me to keep buying everything. Harmony by Skyforest, a really nice, pretty album cover again. This is a pretty cool album. I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing in the world. It's a little bit more shoegazy, kind of keyboard-heavy, atmospheric black metal, or atmospheric, more of a new agey, whatever style. I couldn't really comfortably call this black metal, but you know, maybe some pheasant backs in there, maybe that's what she's munching down on, I don't know. But yeah, it's cool atmospheric listen. Not getting put on the player very often, not gonna lie though, because that's not particularly my style of stuff. I don't like straight up shoegaze really at all. I find it kind of annoying and hipstery, which is usually the reason I'll find something annoying, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. This is A New Dawn, but I do like that EP. Not gonna say anything bad about that, but it's probably because I like the way he writes music. More really awesome album covers and artwork, like all of the Skyforest stuff. This one is more of a return to your black metal style with a lot of the shoegazy, big bombastic keyboard synthesizer stuff added onto it. It's really, really good. I like this band quite a bit, as you might imagine. All these are out on Northern Silence, limited to 1,000 copies. Don't know if there's a repress or anything, but there definitely has been of the vinyl, so I would recommend you pick that up. All right, next I got 3 from a great band called Slytherin. This is When the Darkness Comes. This is really great epic black metal with some atmospheric black metal tendencies. It kind of holds pretty close to the summoning-ish style, but with a lot more of your traditional atmospheric black metal influences. Really well done stuff, and it's all Harry Potter themed. I mean, there's a song called Wizards and Muggles, and The Secret of the Bellatrix Lestrange, and Sirius Black, and True Love of Severus Snape, things like that. You know, it's kind of corny, but I like that about it. Tales of Hogsmeade Village, also by Slytherin. Really cool artwork. I believe this to be the first one from them that I ever heard. Really great stuff. They do the song Double Trouble, which is a John Williams cover. They do the song House of Slytherin, which is great. Hogwarts, Sorting Hat, Quidditch, House of Ravenclaw. Really well put together. Epic atmospheric black metal. And the last one from them, A Tale Will Tell of What Hath Been, which is their newest album from last year. And this was my favorite album of last year, and I'm holding by it. Amazing. Amazing, dude. Chamber of Secrets on here. The John Williams cover from the movie is amazing. But I think that my favorite song on here, what was the name of it? It's not jumping at me right now, dude. I don't remember what the deal is. But it's really, really good. Sorry, this is the other way around. This is the one that was my favorite from last year. I'm an idiot, because House of Ravenclaw is my favorite song. This is the one that came before it. This is the better one. They're both really good. Sorry, I'm kind of a moron, and I got mixed up for a second. Anyway, so 2 from an Icelandic band called Solstaffir. This is Cold. I maybe have listened to this like 3 times, this album. I don't really know what it is that I just haven't revisited it, but it's weird, it's depressive, it's post-rock, maybe with a little touch of black metal, because they were a really weird Icelandic black metal band in the beginning, and this is not really black metal at all, but I put them in that, in this area for the sake of my own sanity and keeping track of things. And another one, Bergdrayamin, not a clue in the world, but really good record. I wanted this one for a while, and then I finally found it in the wild. Was pretty excited. Check out that album cover though. Brilliant and gorgeous watercolor painting, I'm guessing. Not 100% certain, but this is a really well done kind of post-rock style, maybe heavier post-rock, with some atmospheric tinges to it, which I guess is kind of a trait of post-rock. Really good. All right, 2 from a Quebecois band called Sombra Forts. This is the album Quintessence, out on Sepulchral Productions, if I learn how to speak English. But this is a great record. I would probably say this is my favorite, and I haven't listened to this in a little while, but it's probably my favorite of the 2 Sombra Forts albums that I do have. Really majestic, really pretty, really well put together stuff. And this one, I have no clue how to say this one, but it's another Sombra Forts album. This band holds a certain level of ambience, but I don't think enough ambience to call it ambient black metal. It stays firmly in my, my atmospheric black metal section. So maybe like Gris if you're familiar with Gris, they're a really good band from Quebec. I don't have any of their stuff, but great stuff. Did I just throw up my glass of water? Anyway, all right. A couple from SDG, Snowlands. The original recording, really well put together, melodic, atmospheric black metal from Quebec. We're creeping up in 25 minutes, so I'm gonna scoot through all this SDG stuff. This is Moonrise in Total Darkness, which is a brilliant album of which they wasted a great album cover for. I have the cassette with a much prettier cover. Another top tier album. This is the pure essence of Primitive Forests. These three have a very similar sound to them, particularly those first two. This is a great one as well. Just haven't spent as much time with it because, you know, Moonrise and Total Darkness tends to be the one that I go to the most, or Snowlands. This is North. This one got a ton of hype when this came out. I kind of vaguely remember it in 2016 happening. Great, great stuff. And I think this might be a little out of order because this is SDG's. No, they're not out of order. This is perfect. SDG's self-titled. This is stupid good. Like, this is so melodically tasteful, so well put together. It's not even funny. I remember the first time I listened to this, I was up here in the town that I live in now, visiting some friends, actually the buddy that got me my job, and we were just hanging out, and I drove back kind of later one night, and I was, you know, it's all farm fields back to where I used to live, from here up until you get like into town, or out of this town, farm fields, highway, and then there, and I'm just driving through, you know, the North Woods in Wisconsin, enjoying the fact that it's dark out, it's pretty, it's all over farm fields, it's quiet, and blasting this in the background, and I'm just like, just amazed, absolutely amazed at how good this album really is. So check out SDG in general, but I think that might be the one to start with, that one or Snowland or Moonrise in Total Darkness. So got one more. This is a international band called Sojourner with The Shadowed Road. This album made some waves when it came out in 2019. I remember that pretty well. In 2019, I wasn't keeping up much with black metal or metal in general. That's when I dove deep into traditional country, folk music, and some bluegrass. And I still adore that style, those styles of music to this day. It's just kind of metal has regained focus is where it should be as far as I'm concerned. And this is great. It's kind of over the top, but I like that about it. And this album's really, really good. I have the one after this on vinyl. Not huge on that one, but this is a great epic black metal album. People from Italy, New Zealand, Scotland, the UK, America. There's a million different people. I'd love to know how they actually all got a hold of each other. I'm assuming the internet, obviously. But yeah. So I got a big old stack here that does not want to stay up. Oop, I got a little bit of a hole in my pit. All right, anyway. So I'm going to call it at that, y'all. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be back again on Tuesday with another installment of this. We're going to polish off the atmospheric black metal section. So I'll see y'all next time. Keep it greasy.